Hey everybody, welcome to week 6 of GameDev, but only the fun bits. This week we got into a little trouble with distractions, but it's exciting distractions, which I'll get into in a bit. For now, let's get into what I did this week. So Monday, we started with some issues with our pattern distribution system. Ended last week kind of thinking it was done, but spending some more time looking at some problems I thought were minor were actually kind of more substantial, things getting like piled up at corners, the grid not necessarily being filling the entire patch. So I solved this by getting rid of the X and Y repeat. So previously you could repeat a pattern object on the X-axis or the Y-axis. I just changed it to repeating to the edge, because if it's like a triangle, then you're not actually going from X-axis to Y-axis, you're going kind of across a triangle, which might just be the same axis. So made a single repeat to edge. And the other thing was simplifying some of the code where previously there was some hard-coded stuff to either place a mesh or a prefab. Now I've genericized it to use a delegate. So now what it'll do is it'll do a pattern step and then go, hey, just call that delegate, and that delegate could be a mesh, a prefab, some other random function. So now it's much more expandable, usable with anything. And then the final thing I did Monday was I fixed some of the distributed entity cleanup code. So the stuff that I had to populate a patch with trees, grass, rocks, etc. Previously it wasn't cleaning up. So if I moved any of the control points of the patch, it would just kind of pile up with more trees. So I made a bunch of cleanup code to clean up the previous generations on new generations. So Tuesday, I still found there were some issues with trying to do a grid. So the pattern frame, it works with an offset. So you say distribute on this patch this mesh with an offset of this until you reach an edge. So it'll continue to place them. But I found it had problems if I wanted to use it for a grid, because there's certain situations where finding the extent of the grid isn't very easy. So rather trying to get everything to work in one algorithm, which was what I did for a while and it didn't really work, I changed it so I essentially have two modes, a grid fill and a linear crawl. After that, I worked on some smaller things. I adjusted the camera angle for the bike, where previously it was kind of steep. You were kind of looking down overhead. Now it's kind of back below the bike. It looks so much better now. You can actually tell where you're going. And then the last thing I did was I fixed double ground. So previously when I did generating ground, it generated ground in all the right places, but it generated them twice in most of them. So you basically get like on top of each other ground being an issue. So the way I fixed this was with a set of sets of all the points in. So as I generate, a patch is a contained of points, and I put that set of points in a set, and then when it generates, it goes, hey, if you ever get that set of points again, and it's in that set, don't generate that. It surprisingly works, and it still generates pretty fast. So Wednesday, I was kind of looking into vacations, because my lease is coming up, so I was like, well, I'll go on a vacation, we'll see. And I kind of made the big decision. I decided I'm going to do digital nomading, so I'm going to be going across the world, stopping from place to place, and I've been losing sleep. So Wednesday and Thursday, I was so excited about this. I was just like looking at places to go, looking at like prices, researching, how doable is this? So expect in the future I'll probably start doing some travel videos. I'll be heading out in March and going to Japan first. Really exciting, but downside is Wednesday and Thursday I lost to being excited. So Friday I got back to work. I fixed an issue with the car resetter, so if you fall off an edge and you want to reset your position, it wasn't pushing you up high enough, so you kind of start in the ground. So I pushed you up higher, and then the other thing, I fixed a couple more things with the pattern frame. There was still an issue with negative offsets that I had to fix. And then the final thing I started working on was AI. So I started working on getting bikes driving around the course. I changed it so my AI interface has kind of multiple modes. Previously, I had a line sequence followers. I added a new mode or a new class to have a line wanderer. So you place it on a course of a bunch of streets, and it will just wander between them forever. So I got the wandering code working, but then as I was testing it, I found it wasn't really taking the corners well. That is still being worked on right now. They drive around, I'll put up some footage. They drive around, but they get stuck. They eventually kind of lose their way, and it's still on the ground is kind of serpentining back and forth. So next week, that's going to be a big thing. But let's get into that. So next week, going to be working on AI, getting the line wanderer and the bike AI so that on a street it doesn't have to be in the middle and trying to fix that serpentining that the AI is doing. And then after that, I want to do some work with my lighting system. So once I get that done, I think I can output a demo. I know I said this week is probably when it would come out, but just give me one more. I think it's going to be good. And I got distracted, so that's why. So yeah, exciting times. Hopefully we can have some AI on the course, do some play tests. But until next week, see you guys later. Have a good one.